Welcome. Y'all tuned in to another edition of Homage Speaks, or what homages do, homage is paid. And right now, we got to jump right into it. The NFL championship games have been decided. We know who's coming. You got Tom coming to Kansas City to do work, and you got the young Rams coming to dethrone the Saints. It's going to be on this week, but let's jump right into it. Got to talk about the man, the myth, the legend, the GOAT, the Psalm, great quarterback to me, number 12, Tom Brady. What the Patriots did to the Los Angeles Chargers was unreal. I don't think anybody saw a massacre, a pure deep domination of the football game was coming. You look at the Chargers defense, they got one of the top defenses in the league. They matched up perfectly with them, but some reason their defensive coordinator elected to play zone against Tom Brady. You cannot play zone against Tom Brady. He will shed you to street. He has no problem reading defenses, finding the holes in the covers and checking down because that's actually how you play the quarterback position. So many people get excited about like the young Pat Mahomes and the Andrew Lucks. They're able to dial it up and go down the field, but it's actually how you build drives and matriculate the ball down the field at the level of a Drew Brees, at the level of a Tom Brady, when you're really playing the quarterback position at the efficient rate. You only go deep 5 or 6 times a game and you connect on them. Everything else, I am surgically tearing your defense apart. The Patriots were able to get the run game going. Sonny Michel is arguably the steal of the draft. They got them a great football player. Him and James White make a great combo, both of those guys. Even though they're smaller backs, running great in between the tackles. And they were able to neutralize Bosa and Ingram long enough so Tom Brady could set up his quick passing game and deliver the football early and often and accurately the entire game. Bill Belichick is the mastermind of defense. He is one of the top defensive coordinators in the history of the game. And what he was able to do with Phillip Rivers and lock that up, even though he's done that seven times prior to today he was unreal in his approach in locking that up. They constantly moved Phillip Rivers off of his spot the entire game, kept him in third down and long, and they went man to man across the board. They went man to man across the board, or they went some type of cover three, and they was making Phillip Rivers try to beat them over the top. He was 25 or 51. That is horrible for a game of Phillip Rivers and the capacity that he is able to play the game of football with. Be that as it may, the Patriots are coming to play the mighty Chiefs, and the Chiefs look very strong against in my opinion, an overachieved Colts team. The Colts learned a lot about themselves, learned a lot about their identity, and also learned what they need to continue to build a team to get over the hump. But they're going in the right direction. But they didn't stand a chance against against the Chiefs. The Chiefs are able to supplement the loss of Kareem Hunt with Damian Williams. He is running the football very effectively for that team. Sammy Watkins came out, made some big catches early. Tyreek Hill made some plays. Kelsey missed the move to change himself all game long. He was all over the field. And Andrew Luck, early in the game, he threw some great passes, but his team had the dropsies, and he couldn't sustain drives. And Pat Mahomes was throwing the ball just like it was a normal day with great velocity. They won a football game without him even having to throw a touchdown, but he was able to sustain drives on third downs and throw for first downs. He did that all night long. Very solid game from Pat Mahomes. When it was time for him to get out of the pocket, he was able to get out of the pocket, but his offensive line did an amazing job of neutralizing the pass rush for the Colts, and he was able to take his time, make his reads, go through his progressions, and deliver timely passes all afternoon. Look for Tom Brady and the Patriots to go out there and assert their will. I don't think we're going to see as much man-to-man as they played today due to the speed of Sammy Watkins and Tyreek Hill. You're going to see a lot of bracket coverages, and they're going to try to get home with the front four and drop everybody back in the zone and make Pat Mahomes beat them by playing quarterback and matriculate the ball down the field. They're going to really play the bend don't break. They're going to make him be surgical. That's the only way they're going to have to do it. And with the Chiefs have one of the top pass rushers in the league. I believe they led the league in sacks this season as a collective group. Those guys can get after the passer, and they have the recipe to get Tom off his spot. But everything else in the back seven is the problem with the Kansas City Chiefs. So they're going to have to do some things schematically to try to slow that offense down, because if they don't get to Tom Brady, if they don't get to him, it's going down. It's going to be a wrap. But we all know that Phillip Rivers, he just cried another river. That's just what he do for you. If you was ever a fan of his, he's going to let you down at the end of the day. He's very talented, sure Bella Hall of Famer. But at the end of the day, when it's time for him to rise up and beat one of the greats, he rarely has done that throughout his career. And there's going to always be a knock on him because he had a great opportunity to do it today. And moving on to the NFC, you had the Cowboys. You had the Cowboys versus the Rams. The Cowboys' inability to continue to drive on third down was ultimately their downfall. They kept being in 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 9s, 3rd and 10s, and we all know that that's not the strength of Dak Prescott at this point in his career. Not now, not even sure if it ever will. Dak Prescott did show some will, show some grit, but hey, the Rams said we're going to run the football. The Rams came out there and ran the ball with over 100 yards with 2 backs, and even ended the game with Jared Goff scrambling for an 8 to 9 yard gain to seal the deal. They said, we're going to punch you in the mouth. We're going to beat you at your own game. We're going to play time of possession. We're going to hold the ball. We're going to get timely first downs. We're going to do all of these things. And to the Cowboys' credit, they hung in there and fought hard. They were still in that game throughout the whole game. Cowboys, they finally ran into the problem that everybody knew that it was their problem from the beginning with. It's hard for them to score points. They're not explosive offense. They can get you 21. They can get you 20. They can get you 3 touchdowns, maybe even get you up to 24. But until the Cowboys get a new head coach in Jason Garrett and a new offensive coordinator, Cowboys are going to be right where they're at. But they have a great roster, great young roster. They're going in the right direction. They're going to have to keep improving the secondary. But in all other positions, maybe even try to get them a tight end, even though their young tight end shows some promise. They are going in the right direction, but they have plenty of work to be done. And now we got to talk about number 9, Drew Brees versus Nick Foles. What a ball game we just witnessed. Sean Payton versus Dougie P. I mean, you got play calling extraordinaire at its finest. All you needed was Sean McVay in the building. And, man, we got some of the best play calling you're going to ever see in a football game. Drew Brees started off slow, threw an interception on his first pass of the game, started out a little shaky, then he got to rolling. And you know who he got to rolling to? Throwing the ball to can't guard me, Michael Thomas. If he was not in your top 5 before the game started, he in there now. So it's him and 4 other people. Julio Jones, AB, Odell, him, D-Hop, and then you can go from there. You got Mike Evans can get in there. You got Keenan Allen. You got A.J. Green. You got those guys that can enter the conversation. But, man, this guy was nothing short of amazing. 16 targets, 12 catches. Made contested catches all night long. Drew Brees, being the most accurate passer in the history of the sport, can pinpoint pass and put it anywhere. If it has to go right here on this H or right here on this S, it is going, because that's what he do. Drew Brees, very accurate. But that game was taken over by Michael Thomas. The Eagles did a great job of stopping the run and containing the run and really keeping the rest of the players in check. Michael Thomas and Drew Brees said, we finna go get it, and we finna go get it now. The Eagles has had some problems in the secondary, so they didn't run a lot of man-to-man. They ran a lot of zone, and you know how Drew Brees is. He's surgical with that zone. He's going to chop it up. And also make sure that it is known that Marcus Lattimore had one of his best games of the season, and the Saints defense after the first quarter gave up 0 points to keep Drew Brees and company in the game long enough for them to steal it. But I do think that the Eagles have had a great season, and they have a lot of decisions to make. But as far as that football game is concerned, I really think that Doug Peterson need to pull Nick Foles to the side and told Nick Foles that he got to take what the defense give him to get what he want. He kept trying to get the home run ball. Those guys, ball hawks, playing the ball, deflecting the passes. They did a great job of that. But they was giving up the short and intermediate game all game long. The deep end cut was always there. The dig route was always there. The dagger right was always there. And they didn't take it as much as I would have liked to see Nick Foles just take that shot He kept going downfield. That pass he threw to Lattimore, very similar to the touchdown pass that he threw. It's just that Lattimore was there this time. It wasn't a blown assignment, wasn't blown coverage. Lattimore has great ball skills, so if you put it in his area, he can go get it. But Sean Payton doing what he does best at home, making the gutsy play call, whether what to go for it on 4th and 1. That was an amazing call, and you can fool everybody with that because Taysom Hill has been on the punt team the entire season. So that was something that was a great play call and executed beautifully. Um, you also have you also have several big time plays made in that game. The Eagles have nothing to hang their head over. But going into next week, I think the Saints are going to have to crank it up. The Rams are coming, clicking on all cylinders, and all they need is that one game where their defense plays at the level of the names that are on it. Because those guys give up big plays. Those guys give up points. And you can't do that against Drew Brees and company. But they do have a top 10 defense, and that defense will have to hold up so the Saints can get to the Super Bowl in Atlanta. I need Drew Brees here. I need him in a Super Bowl, and I need him to go against Tom Brady. Now, I do know some people want him to go against the Chiefs and knock down the young stud, the guy who's going to edge him out in the MVP, me. But I got something bigger than that. He got to go against number 12. They got to settle this once and for all because I believe that Drew Brees is the GOAT. And if he go in the Super Bowl and beat Tom Brady and he go in the Super Bowl and beat Peyton Manning, those are the two. They are the three quarterbacks of their era, and he beat them all. But, I'm jumping ahead. Great football this weekend. A lot of adjustments were made by the winning teams. All teams coming off the bye won this week, which was kind of predicted. And so, I think the Cowboys had a legitimate chance. I think a lot of people felt that the Cowboys could get it going, but the Cowboys just got beat at their own game. It took Zeke Elliott away. I still think that Zeke Elliott needed to touch the ball 30 to 35 times, but the Cowboys have to figure out new and innovative ways to get them touches instead of just power right, power left. They need to run some screens with him, get him on some mismatch Texas route. Just get him an opportunity to get in a better rhythm and get the ball because he couldn't really get it going. They were stacking the box. They was making the plays. They was making it happen. And Dak Prescott didn't make enough passes in the passing game to relieve some of that pressure and get some of those guys out of that box. That's just as simple as that. Uh, Nick Foles, the first quarter, he was stellar. Adjustments made by the Saints, and he went back to the inconsistent version of Nick Foles, and that's one of the main reasons why people still believe in Carson Wentz. But I'm one of the believers that him and Doug P have something that is so unique and so special and so dynamic that I think they should really consider building on that and harping on that as long as Doug Peterson is the head football coach. But we know what we got coming next week. We got the young stud and the Chiefs trying to avenge their loss. We're going to see if Eric Berry is able to suit up because they're going to need all hands on deck because the Patriots are going to come in and they're going to come in ready to rock. And the Rams, Sean McVay versus Sean Payton. The Rams felt like they got slighted last time they was in New Orleans. They're going to come in ready. They're going to come in hungry and excited and trying to get to the Super Bowl. Number 9, they got one job. Lead them again. And with that being said, this marks another edition of Harmon Speaks.